Shelley, you talk about a lot about ease with helping your clients and helping them do things in an easeful way. Is traditional therapy not easeful as well? How is that different?
Well, I guess there are different kinds of traditional therapy depending on how people practice it, so it's kind of hard for me to answer that. I think just in general, one of my concerns about traditional therapy is that the profession has inherited sort of a unspoken notion that the therapist is kind of a pillar of health and has it all together, and the client's a mess, and that the therapist has answers for the client. And I have a real problem with that personally, because I think we're all students here. We're all learning, and I've got my own stuff, but the difference is I've got some really great tools, and I really enjoy sharing those with people. So I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to your question. You said something about ease, and you asked me what I was talking about. Ease is funny, and the reason I talk about it so much is because we have a hard time as human beings believing that the ease is the natural way. It's hard for people to believe that ease is just a blink away. We're so bought into the idea of being overcomers and strivers, and we're a nation who have built ourselves up by our bootstraps, and we've overcome, and our ancestors and our genetic programming, I've got to believe, is all about kicking life's ass and making it work. And there's some good things that have come out of that, but we've also kind of with it have bought into an illusion that who we are as spiritual beings can be known by kicking ass, or by wrestling the parts of us that we don't like or we think are keeping us from that. It couldn't be further from the truth. To know who we are as spiritual beings, and to know the inherent peace and ease in that, requires us to undo that programming that says it's got to be hard. And one of the things that happens so consistently with clients when I'm working with them is when I just start teaching them these tools, and within 30 minutes or something, people will often come to see me and they think their life is a wreck. They'll think that they're just dealing with a big, hot mess, and they'll think that, and just feel overwhelmed and feel like whatever situation they're entangled in, that there's just no hope. And they probably think they're going to be in talk therapy forever, But when I teach people these tools and help them quiet all that head stuff, so often people will open their eyes after we've been through one of these exercises, and within 30 minutes they'll say, "Are you kidding me? It's this easy?" And I'll just laugh. Because one of my teachers once told me that, he'll often say, if it's difficult, everybody would get it. So I don't know that I'm really answering your question. I can't really explain why it's easeful. I would have to demonstrate it. But if someone could just kind of, instead of believing what I say, just give it a try, either over the phone or in person, and just it's such a challenging place for me, because I see people suffering and see them struggling, and so much of the suffering comes from the crap that's in our heads, and when we can learn to see that for what it is, and that's not something that you can convince somebody of. It's something that somebody has to experience firsthand. Oh, what it's like. What is it like when I really am given a tool that helps me quiet that for just a moment. What's here now? Oh my God. It's peace and it's quiet. And often people will open their eyes when I'm working with them and taking them through the process of breathing or whatever, and they'll say, did the light get brighter? Were those birds singing that loud before we started this? Did the light just get bigger when I was doing this, or is that just my imagination? And it's really common. And I'm making it sound like woo-woo magic maybe to some people, but it's not. It really is the way of nature. It really is the way we're designed. And I think that culturally and as human beings, we're kind of being called back to that.
And the tools that you talk about, can you give me an example of, what are these tools? It sounds fantastic.
Well, I've talked about them a good bit on some of the other videos. I think there's a video on the Nature's Way Home YouTube channel called Releasing What It Is and What It Isn't, or something like that, and I'll describe it a little bit. But it's really very practical tools, starting with something I call grounding, which is feeling your feet on the ground, because most of the time we live in our heads. So when we can feel our feet on the ground and bring our awareness back to inside our bodies versus not just being way up in our heads and thinking about the future and what needs to happen next, and when bring our orientation back to the now, back to the present, that's a lot of it. But then we can, once people are more in the now and in their bodies, the body can be asked, what's here now? What do you want me to know? What do you need me to know? And the body mind will reveal to us what's here that wants some attention. And it's just a matter of learning how to talk to it in a way that it can relax. And I don't mean just in soothing tones. I mean in asking questions and learning how to invite it to have its voice. Because it's just like a kid in the grocery store that's staying at the candy aisle and going, Mama, Mama, Mama. And when she finally turns, she goes, what? And the kid goes, that's how this stuff is in us. It's just trying to get our attention, and we're telling it, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. And then when we can take the time to go, what is it? What do you want? And genuinely want to know, it'll just go, oh, it's really not that big of a deal. I was just trying to make you think it was.